Perfect. 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 Perfect.
All right, folks. So this is interesting. It's a 3BG at the movies, but like we're gonna talk about Ballerina.
Yeah, forgive us for being a little bit late. You know, life happens.
See, this gives us a little bit of freedom to talk about it in a way, because even though it's in movies and it did good business, like I feel we could talk about it enough to where we can kind of spoil it a little bit, but not really all the way with it. But like, all right, when they announced this movie, I was intrigued because the John Wick universe, as we talked about on the 3BG show when we did all 4 movies, it lends itself in a way that you could do a spin-off movie within it, because there's so many like groups, factions, and a host of assassins and wild characters that you could, if you told me like Negro Ocelot was getting a fucking solo movie, I'd be like, all right, cool. I'm with it.
I mean, okay, and just to piggyback off of that, there are so many characters and things that happen in the background or just from John, like literally passing a hallway and we're seeing stuff. Like, good example, you could almost do a spinoff on one of the like that scene when John walks through the room and he sees those guys wrestling.
Yeah, but that was the kicker, is that I think, was it John Wick 2 or 3 when he went back to them? It was 3 was when they broke the thing. Yeah, 3. So we saw where he was like from, right? And like you said, we saw the wrestlers, we saw the ballerinas and stuff. So when they announced this movie, I was like, that actually makes sense, because that is an interesting faction of people that actually trains their own assassins in some way, shape, or form. All right, cool.
Like almost everybody, like I said, almost everybody in the John Wick universe is almost worthy of having their own story, whether it's just a one-shot movie or like a quick 6-episode miniseries. I want to know about the about the people, like the operators, like all the phone operators,
like,
the ones that be handing out the bounties and stuff. Like, how does one become an operator? And are the tattoos like a mandatory thing? Because every single one of them, while they're in uniform, all rocking cool tattoos.
And that's my thing. It's like, you have that, and even God, you're gonna laugh at this. It'd be like, if you told me, hey, we're gonna get a movie where we're gonna see what happened to Common after John stabbed him in the chest or something, I'd be like, all right. I mean, he's still stupid, but fine.
Still walking around with the blade in his chest.
Yeah, like, like on some Tony Stark, like, if I remove the blade, I'm gonna die. Like, whatever, right? So when they announced it, I was like, all right, it could be interesting. And the usual fucking chodes were out here fucking losing their minds, like, ooh, women and whatever, right?
Oh, when I heard about that, I
laughed, because I'm like, did y'all watch the movie that you guys love? Because like, this seems very much in line. It makes sense here. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
no, when I heard about it, I immediately laughed, because I said, I expected this. I expected them to freak out over it.
What had me laughing though, and I don't think you watched the trailer, I think I told you, I laughed so hard when so you had the initial trailer that came out, which I was like, fuck it, I'm in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the final trailer, because they only really dropped 3 trailers for this movie. The final trailer, and I see John come off the train, I was like, get the fuck out of here, you final boss, get the hell out of here. Like, because we knew this movie took place, because this movie takes place between John Wick 3 and 4, basically.
Yeah, between 3 and 4. And
it's very subtle with it too. It's like, all right, cool.
When we see him get off, like when I saw him get off the train, I was like, yeah, John's the final boss. Cool, great.
I'm with it.
I'm like, I'm here for it. We know he
survives.
Like, we know he survives, and I know for a fact he's not going to kill the main character.
Yeah, so it's like, and I think that's what makes it great, because it's like, yeah, we know he doesn't die. Obviously, main homegirl ain't gonna die. So what's the angle? And we're not gonna spoil that, but I think the angle that they do in this movie is interesting for those two. And I'm like, all right, cool, I'm with it. But basically, we're following Eve, who we find out is the daughter of an assassin who got executed when she was a little girl. She grows up with the Ruska Roma, and she trains with them to become an assassin. And through a mission that she goes on, she ends up coming across one of the assassins that had the markings of the same people that killed her dad. And basically, she is trying to uncover what the fuck is going on, and she wants to plot her revenge. And there's a lot of red tape involved, per usual, in the John Wick universe that prevents her. Not to say prevents her, but
no. It's very simple. The people that she's trying to go after, they know who they are,
and
we're like, look, they do not operate with us. We are aware of their activities. We are at arm's length with, like, with that group of people. We don't associate with them. They don't associate with us. It's like
our distance is a piece.
It's like a circle, of respect. Of we don't go inside this circle.
Yeah, it's a peaceful resolution, and it per the John Wick universe, when you buck against the system in some sort of way, there is a measure of consequences, as John eloquently said in was it 2 or 3? He said consequences.
He's pretty much said it since 2, and that's been his thing. That's been his thing.
There's consequences, and I will say this. The usual chuds that talk about women and action movies and stuff. I will give Anna Armas is that the last movie I saw her in was in what the fuck was the name of that movie with the mystery?
Not Knives Out.
Yeah, Knives Out. She was in Knives Out. She was the old girl in Knives Out. Out. That was like the maid and stuff, and she was in War Dogs too. So like, and she was also the AI chick in Blade Runner. That's the other movie. So like,
yeah.
So the thing of it is, obviously in these movies, the actors that they train. So I never had any doubt that she could, like, I could see her actually kicking ass. So when I watched the movie, I love how the Ruska Roma, it's like, all right, they establish off rip. And again, this is how great the John Wick universe is. It's like, look, you're a woman. You obviously are weaker than a man. Guess what? Fight dirty.
Yeah.
Fight dirty.
I mean,
no,
duh.
fight dirty. We're not going to have you doing some like, all right, he's going to throw this guy like 50 feet over. It's like, no. Fight dirty. That's the only way you're going to win.
No. It wasn't actually the line, sir. It wasn't fight dirty. It was fight like a girl.
Yeah. It's all relative.
When I heard that line, I was like, yeah, we know what that means. Anything goes at this point.
I mean, let's be real.
I was waiting for her to pull out a book.
I mean, let's be real. In the Wick universe, there is no such thing as a fair fight unless you are actually doing something dealing with the high table, like as we saw in John Wick 4.
Well, in the Wick universe, it's not. Yeah, you're right. There is no such thing as a fair fight, but at the same time, it's Jackie Chan rules. If we're inside of a freaking Woolworth or something, or like a Burlington or an IKEA, everything in that building is getting used.
Let me tell you something. The action scenes in this movie, I never had any doubt it was going to match with John Wick. I knew it was. So it's just a case of what can you show me that's different than John Wick? And holy shit, that this movie I never in my life didn't think I would ever want to see a flamethrower fight, and I got a goddamn flamethrower fight. Who knew? Who fucking knew?
See, a flamethrower fight was one. For me, I grew such an extra appreciation for hand grenades.
Bruh.
The amount of hand grenades that was used in this movie and the way that they used them, I just said, oh my God, there's not enough chef's kisses that I could throw out there.
It's in the trailer, but like, I forgot, because it's done in movies before, but like, I love how she's behind this heavy door, throws a grenade, kicks the guy behind it, and just basically closes the door, and just boom, it blows up. And I'm like, I forgot you can do that if it's a reinforced door.
Yeah, if the door is reinforced, yeah, anything that's on the other side of that door is instant red sausage.
Yeah, you're fine. There's smoke behind you. You're fine. Like I kind of forgot about that. Like, yeah, that is a real thing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, hey, it works.
I mean, but like I said, it's just when I didn't think that they could do something crazy with this world, it's just like you got the Roma Ruska and you got the cult, which is the name of the assassin group.
Mm-hmm.
And the cult has their own sort of fucking motif with them, which I'm like, holy crap, they wow, okay, this is interesting.
When I saw that the entire town was being used, I was
They have
like,
a whole town. It's like a whole Amish town, basically. It's
I was
like,
like, son, what are we doing?
but again, it's like when you think about the Wick universe, it's like, well, of course there's a whole fucking town that is being served by the. Of course that makes sense. Why wouldn't it be? Like, come on, this is the same universe where we saw people fucking shooting out in Paris in the fucking traffic circle, and everybody's like, oh, it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah, it's not every day you're seeing guys in bulletproof suits, random dogs getting thrown into a freaking car window and whatnot at the Arc de Triomphe. Like, it's not every day. It's not every day.
Sorry, like, look, in a world, our world is made up of billions of people. It's like you tend to forget. It's like, yeah, there's probably a lot of people out here that got guns in their gangs and they gotta do something. So of course, why not? Like it's, but like I said, that goes to what you were saying, like the industry of like the Wick universe of like all the machine itself is just there's so many moving pieces within it.
There are
And it's just
all worthy of a story.
Yeah, and that's what Wilds, because like I said, we're seeing just this group and how they have their own little fucking beef with, like the bar was it what was John Lawrence Fishburne's character.
The Bowery.
The Bowery. He's in charge of all the homeless people apparently around the world apparently, and I'm like, that's a whole industry in and of itself, and it's just it's like all these extra things you didn't see, and Ballerina opens that door up even more where I'm like, I kind of want to see more of this. I really want to.
I agree. You get your hands on a good writer, a good producer, and good director. You can make more stories around this universe.
I mean, and I kind of want to see more Norman Reedus just being Norman Reedus featuring Norman Reedus.
When they introduced Norman Reedus in this movie,
kind of mad he didn't have a crossbow. I was like, would have been nice with a crossbow.
That'd have been way too on the nose if they gave him the crossbow.
Bro, now you can't give me a John Wick movie for crossbow. Come on, man.
Hold on. Given how people did like Norman Reedus' character, if Norman is, I would say if Hollywood deems it to be so, and we get more stories around Norman's character, then yeah, at this point, probably by the second movie, he'll probably have a crossbow.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he was running around with that shotgun with total aim assist, by the way.
It's like, look.
My man was surgical with it.
I mean, he's part of the cult, but it's basically Norman Reedus, essentially. Like Norman Reedus just operates on his own. It's like, I'm supposed to believe this guy's an assassin, I guess, sure. Redneck assassin, I guess, sure.
Nah, but he was great.
Oh no, he was great. It's like
I needed more of his character.
Yeah, I mean, but I think him being in this movie, the way in which he was doing his scenes, it was I would say it was definitely different compared to how he fights in The Walking Dead.
Well,
because Walking Dead, it's like, it feels like Walking Dead, the way they choreograph stuff is very like fast and loose, but John Wick is very like, all right, it's precise.
I will get, yeah, he had a lot of precise stuff, but the way that he carried himself throughout certain parts of the movie, I'm just looking at him like, bro, I'm looking at Daryl.
Well, I'm like, where's the crossbow? Where's the crossbow? Come on.
Because put it like this, if he still has the same Daryl haircut in every movie that he's in, it's kind of hard not to take anything away from Norman, but it's like, bro, you've been rocking the Daryl cut since 2009. All right.
All I'm saying is If you're
Don't
gonna
never
do it,
change. Number one, never change. I still love it. Okay, you know,
personally,
you are forever Daryl though.
I want to see the adventures of Daniel Pine and his redneck brother, played by Michael Rooker, in the John Wick universe. Just saying, just saying.
That would be a good one.
But nah, the overall movie, they did a really phenomenal job of just like, look, it takes place in the John Wick universe, but we don't need to lean on John Wick's character to kind of amp up the movie. Like, he exists,
In
but
fact,
it's like,
in fact, the scene where they actually did like splice in, this is where it happened. You know, this is where the story has been taking place. You know, in John Wick 3, like at
yeah.
this moment, you could have left it at that, and we never see John again for the rest of this movie, and the movie still would have been fine.
And it's funny because when we see John later on, it tracks for where we see him at in 4. And I'm like, well, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Of course.
Now, now, of course, given how people, angry chuds reacted to this movie, and of course, none of them having even seen it at the time, I will say this: the movie being the success that it was, I wonder if it would have that same energy if this movie had nothing to do with the John Wick universe. Like if this was just an action movie, starring a tough girl who is trained, by the way. It's not like she was all, it's not like she's all
and everything, but no, John Wick, it still would have worked.
No. I'm saying if this movie was just, a League of Assassins, blah blah blah. It has nothing. It's not even a John Wick universe movie. Had this movie been its own thing that has nothing to do with the John Wick universe whatsoever, would this movie still hold the same amount of water?
It would, because the thing of it is, it's like, if you eliminate that plot twist with John Wick and say just replace it with something else for whatever that is, right? It still functions the same. Because I think it really boils down to, I think to your point, you got the same director that did the John Wick movies, right? But it's also the writing, because the writing to the John Wick movies and even this movie, it's like, look, let's keep it simple. This shit don't need to be any difficult than what it needs to be plot wise, right? And
not at all.
You know the strength of the character. People come here to see the action, and that's it. And I think that's the key elements right there. Don't make the shit difficult than what it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. But
I think what trips up a lot of people is that they try to like make the shit more interesting in the dumbest ways, and you're like, all right, man, you're kind of like muddying waters here. Chill.
And that's why I just asked the question. Like, if this was anything, if this was anything else, than a John Wick universe movie, would people still have that same argument? I mean, look at Jason Statham's movies. You got Beekeeper and Working Man.
But again, the director knows how to do it, which is ironic because the director of Ballerina, Lynn Wiseman, he did all the fucking Underworld movies. Mm-hmm. And look, for my money, those Underworld movies know the assignment. It's stupid as shit, but they know the fucking assignment. Vampires versus werewolves. That's all we fucking came here for.
Yeah,
that's it.
And to think, at somewhere in those movies, there was supposed to be an Underworld and Blade crossover, and we never got it.
But you know what? They knew the assignment, and look,
they knew it.
They knew the assignment. It just was what it was. So it's like,
and that's the same. You know what? That's how I'll end it by just saying that this movie knew its assignment. It had the right director, the right producer. All the actors pretty much played everything out the way that it was supposed to be played. Mm-hmm. I had no issue with this movie.
Yeah,
it's John Wick. Give me dumb action, okay?
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, and I think that's what comes to it, because I think the guy that wrote this movie, he did John Wick 3 and 4. So of course, makes perfect fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't have to play it slow anymore. This is like the 5th movie in the franchise.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people go into these movies expecting what it is. So it's just like, hey, you want action, cool. You don't have to. It don't have to be theater of the mind. sometimes. I mean, it's kind of like I think we said it too, like the John Wick movies is what we wish the Expendable movies kind of kept energy wise throughout its whole time instead of it being what it ended up being.
Oh yeah, because I
Like
will
that first
say,
movie, we love the second one. It's stupid
yeah,
as shit, but all right, cool.
it's
Third,
like first two,
it's
first
like
two.
number 3. Well, after you watch 4, you're like, you know what, 3, perhaps I was too harsh to you. All right.
No. 3 when you find the director's cut version of it.
See, I didn't see 3 directors.
I'm about to say the unrated version of 3. I know it exists. It has
I didn't
to.
hate 3, but it was kind of like you guys kind of lost what we loved about the second one. So what are we doing here? 4.
Well, 3 is the one where they actually try to put out a PG-13 Expendables.
Yeah, which
And we're like, you can't do that. No.
And 4, well, direct to DVD territory in the worst way.
Yeah, that one was just yuck.
It's like I love you, 50, but Megan Fox, what are you doing here? Why?
You give me what was it, Tony Jaa and Eco, and you still make that movie be yuck. That takes work, magic, and a whole bunch of crap in between.
They tried too hard.
That is that's a recipe that should be impossible.
Yeah, but I think that's the key thing with the John Wick franchise is that I could tell, because you think about John Wick 4 came out, you're talking 2 years it took for them to finally develop Ballerina and put it out. I think that just what it is. It's just like, yo, take your time with whatever you're doing going forward. Because apparently they want to do a John Wick 5. And I'm like, well, I think the director and some of the producers were like, well, hey, look, we don't want to rush it. If we can find a story that works, we'll do it. Otherwise,
that's my only argument. Find a story that works.
Yeah, just find a story that works. Don't do it because you think that's what people want. It's like, look, you put out Ballerina. People wanted that. That's great. Give us old girl that's avenging, going over to Donnie Yen or something like that.
Yep,
we'll watch that movie.
I'm about to say you could do a side story, either a spinoff story about that, or make it a part of the John Wick 5 plot.
Yeah, something like you got, like I said, I think we said at the start of this, it's like there's so many things you can do with the John Wick universe that could work in an action sense, and people will actually gravitate to it because the world that they built from that first movie lent itself to doing that in a weird way. I don't think we even expected that to happen.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so, but yeah, go check out Ballerina. This is definitely going alongside my other John Wick steel books for sure.
I still got to get because matter of fact, I don't have any of the steel books for John Wick.
It might be on Amazon because Best Buy ain't
no. What I got was I got the 4K collection. It was the 3-disc 4K collector set. It was basically a collector set of like the first 3 John Wick movies.
Okay.
And unfortunately for the digital, like you can only redeem it through. They didn't even give you all the options of, you can redeem it off of Apple, was it like the Apple Store or Apple TV or Movies Anywhere. It's like it was either you watch it off of the Lionsgate app or you watch it on YouTube or something.
Wow.
I didn't like it, so I might have to double or even triple up.
Ballerina from the World of John Wick 4K Steelbook from Amazon, $34.99 pre-order.
Already available.
Oh yes, I will be doing that. Oh yes.
There's quite a few of those going around.
Well, like I said, with Best Buy kind of like not being in the business of it, it's pretty much Amazon and Walmart apparently they are doing steelbooks now. So, which I'm fine with that as long as I can get my steelbook collection going. That's cool. I've already pre-ordered Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
See, I'm waiting for the Mission Impossible set to be like the Fast and Furious set. Remember that Fast and Furious set that came out? It was in a literal book of the I think what was it, the first 8 movies?
Yeah, I bought that one. It felt weird because it's weird because I had like 4 of the movies already on Blu-ray, and then it's like, oh, I bought this thing on Prime Day with the full 8 movies, and I'm like, All right,
Yeah.
cool. That got
I
you.
bought
Cool.
the 4K version, and I went back and I doubled up and I bought the 4K 25th anniversary of the first movie on Steelbook.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, folks, go see Ballerina. It's that's another one that I would definitely say take your ass to IMAX to watch because you might get some good. There's some scenes in that movie that probably pop on IMAX, especially the final the little third act.
There's no better way to watch this movie other than IMAX.
Oh man, well that's why I can't wait for that 4K. It's gonna be fucking hot.
Yep.
Anyways, folks, we will catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace out.
All right.
That boy is Benny Hanna.